If you have said to yourself, I should write that, or if someone has said to you, you should write that, then I'm talking to you because you need to write. And that's why you're tuned in to yWrite. Hi, welcome to yWrite. I'm your host, Angela Grout, and we are in studio today to talk to another author about their writing process and, how we not only make time for writing, but we create the stories that we write. I have with me a woman from Hamden, Massachusetts, and she is a lover of horses, and her books actually help to, defend children. She has written a series about anti-bullying, and she proves to us that, at any age, change can happen, and we can stay young and vital. Her name is Sandra Howell, and Sandy has written dozens of books, including the Samantha Steele Mysteries, which explores challenges with American horses. Like I said, she loves horses. So if you're a lover of horses, you're going to love her books, and we're going to find out why she started writing about horses. She also has a series called The Angel Club, which does tackle bullying, and we're going to find out why she decided to tackle bullying. And we're going to talk about her latest novel with a character named Izzy, who is 69 years old, and she's doing some online dating. Like, how cool is that? So Sandy has been she is a retired professor. She still teaches online. She's an award-winning writer. Like I said, she's got 13 books that you're going to see in a minute. And she co-founded the Western Mass Authors Selling Book Group. And we're going to learn how that has helped local authors and how her experience as a prolific and passionate writer has had her featured on Mass Appeal, yWrite, and become a recipient for several grants, which allows her to donate her books so that more people can read them. I want to welcome to the show, Sandra Howell.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your invitation, Angela. I'm more than happy to be here.
Yes, this is great. We participated in an author artist fair a few weeks ago, which was really fun.
Yes.
And, I walked by your table, and of course, I am a strong believer in angels.
Yes.
So, of course, your angel series, kind of was jumping out at me. But then it's like I'm seeing, all these, you have 5 books here, a series on American horses. And I just was like, wow. Wow, you write a lot.
Prolific.
Very prolific. So, first of all, I want to ask, when did you start writing?
Well, I started writing more when I retired. But before that, I had written for shorts, like equine magazines, and I'd written articles for the union, the Massachusetts Community College Union, at different times. So I was always a writer, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But I never thought I would write a novel until I entered a creative writing class, intent on really writing a memoir.
Okay.
Which changed my life, so to speak.
Which one of these are your memoirs?
Well, it ended up being based on my memoir because it's a combination of funny stories when I first entered the horse world of attempting to breed a rare horse. And all of the pitfalls that happened, all the funny stories I started putting together. And then I had a fabulous mentor, Sylvia Rosen. A lot of people will recognize her name. She just died at 107 years old.
Whoa, Sylvia Rosen, my role model.
But she was fabulous. Years ago, she wrote Off My Rocker, as she was a columnist for The Republican. And Sylvia was running a creative writing class. And I said, I'm going to write my memoir, maybe. I better go to that class and
Where
hone
was the
my
class?
skills.
At a college or a museum?
It was
library?
at the Long Meadow Center there. Not the Long Meadow Center. It was at the Jewish Center.
Okay, yeah.
Jewish Community Center. I
I
go to so many, I can't even tell you. But anyway, the Jewish Center. And I attended her classes, and she would give prompts. A lot of writing classes.
I love writing prompts.
Yeah,
I can take off with a prompt.
So she always gave prompts. Plus, she was an English teacher, so she was terrific in honing in on how to make something better. And I didn't use the prompts. Instead, I was like, well, as always, I'm trying to do my own thing no matter what anybody else is doing. So I started writing about horses in my adventure with this rare horse. And the more I wrote every week, everyone would say, forget the prompts, read us another chapter. They would be just laughing about it.
That's when
And
I
that's how
belong
it
to a
started.
writers group, and we do the same thing. I sometimes will use the prompts, but
Yes.
I'm using it for my own.
There you go.
Like a fictional story.
Yes.
So of course I write it in the first person, and people are like, "Did you go through that?" And I'm
Yes.
like, "No."
No.
And everyone else is writing their memoirs, and
yes.
it's like, no, this is a story about a
Yeah.
girl who was murdered. I'm here.
Right.
Yes. But
That's how I started.
so which was your first book that you wrote?
So my first book was,
No, this is mine.
that's yours, excuse me. But I could say I wrote that and be happy.
Yeah, sure. You love it.
This is my first book, actually, Spirit of a Rare Breed, as you can see. Rare breed, because I was breeding a rare breed at the time. Actually, the cover is my horse up on the hill. I used my own photo
That's
for
gorgeous.
the cover of this, and it wraps around like this. And it was one of my horses up on the hill. And yeah, I started with this.
Did
and-
you know writing that it was going to become a
No.
series?
No, not at all. I wrote it for family.
Okay.
Actually, I wasn't sure how to go about it. I was just a novice, and she said, "Oh, why don't you write?"
And you're breeding curly horses?
Yes.
So it's a story about how you were breeding the curly horses, what you went through, the relationship with the horse.
Funny things that happen along the way, except I put, not myself in there, of course, I put an imaginary character in there who had twins, and she was
That's
divorced.
Samantha.
And, yes,
Samantha Steele.
So this book starts out when she's younger. She has twins, children, a boy and a girl. And I put her in this situation where she's trying to breed this rare horse, and then I put a lot of my own stories into her storyline.
Well, I mean, there are so many
Yeah.
horse lovers out there, and of course, we have the Eastern States Exposition not down, very close
yes,
to us
yes.
with, all sorts of breeders and stuff coming on. So I can see how the series is very popular.
Yeah. Equine Affair, that's where I show a lot. I work
Sell a
a
lot of your
kiosk
books,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, how did you begin publishing these books? And
Well-
and I want to talk about the publishing part of it, because for people looking to get a book published, I mean, creating the cover is a big deal.
It is.
So like how involved were you, and who helped you?
Well, as I've started weaving my stories together, and Sylvia said, "Sandy, these are so funny, these stories, you should put it together in a book and, figure out how to publish it." And I said, "Oh, well, okay." Actually, what happened is I turned to my cousins, one who knew how to put a cover together, lives in Jersey, and another one who knew how to format. I knew nothing about how to put a book together. I didn't go to Amazon. Now there's so many ways
To get help out
to
there.
get help
Yeah.
out there. Some of them, when I lecture, I talk about don't go to some of these sites because they're going to take all your money and they do nothing for you.
Yeah.
So if you are going to be a writer, understand that you're going to have to do all of your own promotion if you want to do that kind of thing. Or are you writing it just for yourself? Or are you writing a memoir? As it happened, so I was writing this mainly for my family. And my cousin read it and she said, "This is so good. It's so funny. Why are you not publishing this? I love this book." So I said, "Oh, okay." So I took the photo of my horse on the hill, and my one cousin, Fred, put it into that format for me. And that was all it was going to be.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And now we're 13 books later.
Yes.
But at least five in this series.
Well.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously we write what we know. We write
Yes.
what we love about.
Yes.
We write what we're passionate about. So
Yes.
the series about the horses is, like you said, it's funny, it's engaging, and it's very well marketed,
Yes.
to so many people. But then you created the Angel Club.
Yes.
So the Angel Club, I mean, it's books for, I'm going to say, tweens, teens, adult, anyone.
Teens,
But
11, early. The first book is for an earlier reader, like 11-year-old, 12-year-old. How it happened. So then after I wrote my first novel, which was Spirit of a Rare Breed, it was really meant to just share the rare horse that I had fallen in love with, and how can I promote this horse? That's all that I kept thinking. And that's why I put the curly horses in there. And after that, I love mysteries, so I decided to put the horses into mysteries. So the next 3 books of Samantha Steele are all mysteries involving horses.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was asked to go and lecture, and I met another woman there who had written a book, and she said to me, you know what, you're so versed in how you put your first book together and you're writing your other ones. She said, I have written books, but it's really hard to do promotion. She said, what do you think if you and I begin a writing group for people that want to promote their books or need information on how to put a book together and things like that. And then we figure out how to sell these books, how to market these books. So I said, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So we put together a group called Author Selling Books. I wasn't fond of the title personally, but she insisted that was a good thing. And
Well, it says what it is. Author Selling Books.
That's right. And but it grew out of control, to tell you the truth. What started out as 10 people, pretty soon people from the eastern part of the state were coming to our meetings. It got huge. I started having the meetings at my house. It became overflowing into 2 rooms because there were so many people.
Yeah.
And but we did learn a lot from each other, and we did a ton of shows together. I have a notebook on shows we all did.
The person that you're talking about is Courtney?
No.
Oh.
So Courtney
Because I know that you've done co-writing with Courtney.
That's how I met her.
Oh, you met her through this Author Selling Books. Okay.
So I'm running this Author Selling Books, and I'm going to all these events, and everybody else is in, whatever. And Courtney Vale came in, and she had a couple of books that she had completed, and she was self-publishing. And she also does book covers. She does formatting of books and all this stuff. And she said, you know what, Sandy, I love your book, and you know all about horses. We have a lot in common. I have a disabled son. She had an autistic boy. And she said, what if we start writing a series together? It could be anything. You write one piece, I'll write another. And I thought, okay, I'll try that. So we began with Angels Club. And Angels Club is really the first book in a series, a 6-book series. Angel is really an adopted horse, a rescued horse, that this group of kids who volunteer at a therapeutic riding farm, they've been bullied in school, each of them, or wherever for some reason, and they come together to help other kids in a therapeutic riding program. And so Angel was the first horse they adopted, and they started doing good deeds. And I love that first book because they form a club called Angels Club, named after the rescue horse. And then they all support each other, and they do good deeds. And that one book led to another, led to another, led to another. And lo and behold, it ended up winning many awards through Unify Against Bullying, through Equus, through...
Well, and horses are very healing, and I know there's a lot of therapeutic, horse ranches where, people do go for camps, and especially for autistic children or any, people with disabilities, because horses do speak a language to them.
They do.
And being able to address the fact that these children have been bullied in some way, shape, or form, to address that. You have that kind of underlying theme in all of them. And then what you've gone and done is you go and get grant money to be able to give these books away to empower people to read them.
Yes.
And I think that is amazing because I know, as a writer, it's like we apply for grants to help fund our habit.
Fund our habit.
Fund the habit. But, it's like to get readers, like you said, to do the marketing, to be an author selling more books, that's a lot. I mean, it's one thing to sit down and write the book. It's another thing, to format it and put it together in a finished piece. But now you got to market it.
Yes.
So if you can get that book into the hands of people, at no charge and still cover your costs.
That's right.
That's wonderful.
That's what I did. Well, what happened is not only is it anti-bullying books and this series takes place at a therapeutic farm where all these young people gather and help other children, who have disabilities, ride horses. They walk with them, and they're full of adventure. Because you cannot write a book just about, I've been bullied. You've got to show the growth of a child that's been bullied or the adult that's been bullied. How do you learn to stand up against the people that are bullying you, like the high school people or the grade school people or the middle grade school people. You have to also have a lesson in there. But the lesson has to be woven kind of finely in there because kids don't want to be lectured to. They have to be able to read and understand. So the lesson of anti-bullying is woven into each book, but through excitement and adventure, like either they're chasing stolen horses or they're searching for treasure or there's always something going on.
You have such a creative imagination.
Yes, there's always something going on in these books that makes the reader want to read more. And through reading, they're saying, hey, I was bullied too, and this is how they stood together. They have an alliance.
To the character.
They have an alliance. That this is what they do. Like one of the books I'm most proud of is, and there's always something historical, is this book here, because this is about a foster boy who was tossed. He's a biracial boy. He was tossed from one home to another, abused, felt like no one loved him. His family didn't love him. And the farm where all of this takes place, Sunnybrook Farm, there's only one daughter, and they decide they're taking him in and they adopt him. But it's all about how he went through trying to trust.
I was going to say, like, building the trust with that family
building
because
the
you
trust.
don't know if they're going to throw you back.
Right. So he was striking out. He was angry. And it shows all this in this book. But he finally comes into his own when a Cherokee family lives nearby, and this grandfather is very woven through these books of wisdom. He has so much wisdom. And he says, what we're going to do is we're going to, in our nation, we name children from the time they're born. The name changes all the time. As they grow into another name. We're going to give you another name. We're going to rename you. And this is all about renaming.
Geez, they do that with women when we get married.
That's right.
We
do. We change our name.
Men need to get renamed.
Better to keep your own name.
Yeah.
Better to keep your maiden name.
No, I
still have
love
my
that. So
maiden name.
he matures and becomes...
and they have a ceremony, and they name him Wahali, which means eagle in Cherokee. And so he feels puffed up. He feels stronger. He's something. He's somebody.
Free.
It's a beautiful ceremony. But then he's brought into this in another book. But then each of these kids in this book eventually grew into their own book.
Can we make this into a Netflix series?
Well, that's what everybody
it
says.
really
It should be a Netflix series.
Yeah, like these after-school specials that they used to always have and stuff.
Because
like,
this is so needed.
Yes.
And this boy, so I loved him so much, Joey, or Wahali, that I said, we have to write his own book. So we did. And what's nice about this book, I bring in the Underground Railroad because he's hunting for arrowheads. Even though he's not supposed to be in this certain cave, he falls down searching for these arrowheads into a tunnel, and it ends up it's a Underground Railroad tunnel. So then I talk in this book about the Underground Railroad.
So you're getting history, too.
I put history.
I mean, that's a great way to teach kids.
That's
because
right.
It's fun
Everything
to
is
learn
written
that
with
way.
a purpose. Like, you can look different, you can be different.
Did you plan it when you were writing? Like, do you do like an outline saying these are the things I want to introduce, or
Well,
this is how
Courtney
I'm going to do
and
it,
I
or
work
does it
together.
just flow?
Courtney, the hardest thing is people always ask me is, how do you write with someone else?
Yeah.
Because some people own their writing so much.
Are you writing different characters? Are you taking on a character? Okay.
I write Wahali because I love Wahali. I write the grandfather's voice. I write the adult voices. She writes the younger children's voices.
Yeah, I can see working with someone to do things like that.
And I write horses. And then we weave it together. We have meetings. We plan it out and we put it together. And it's funny because when we meet and we have the final book like this, we say, oh my God, I don't know where your voice is and where my voice is.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's woven so smoothly.
Yeah.
I don't know who wrote what.
That's awesome.
That's what we both say. It's magic. It's magic.
Yeah.
This book here, I'm just going to tell you a quick story about all of them because this is so important. This book,
and I, definitely want to, show them because just the covers alone. I mean, I know how hard it is to put covers together, and the way that they're done in a way to market to that audience too. I mean, with all the doodles and the glossy print. So it's like, you really have to know how you're putting things together.
So it's Angel Club, and this is the fight to save Mustangs. And this is when I bring in the plight of the wild Mustangs into this book. And she goes out west and she's learning about the wild horses. But the big thing is she has cerebral palsy. And so every book, each character has something special about them, why they're bullied or this or that. And she's been bullied because she has cerebral palsy. But interesting enough, I love this character too, Emily. Love, love, love her. She ends up trying to ride in hunt seat, and she can't because her legs can't work that way. And she has to go out west to find out that she can ride barrel racing.
Oh. Well, you know what? When you're talking about, like, you know, the characters in there that have some sort of disability.
Yes.
For someone who, you know, I mean, we all have a disability, but for someone who doesn't have a disability to read it,
Yes.
it helps them to resonate and
Yes.
to understand and have empathy for people
That's right.
of all people, you know.
That's
and it's
right.
like, okay, now you understand, you know, a little bit more of their point of view.
That's right,
And it's
you're
interesting
right.
that you and Courtney can write from that
That's
point
what we
of view.
do. Like one of the children in one of these books has autism. He's on the, you know, and he's so hyper, but he's a genius. He flies drones to find missing horses, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Every character, we try to make this an inclusive. That's why it won so many awards. Each book is very inclusive. This is a Cherokee boy. Now I have pen pals of young girls, one from England who has cerebral palsy. She said, I read the book. This is the first book about a girl with cerebral palsy who is fabulous. And she rides a horse.
She's like me.
Yes.
I can be like her.
That was the
Yeah.
most wonderful thing, hearing from that young girl. And she said, when is the next book out? When is the next? And is Emily in all your books? Yes. We bring the characters from the beginning.
They follow through.
They follow through. They're
They
aging.
age. Yep.
They're aging, and they're all following through. So that's that book.
So how long does it take you to write a book?
Well, if they say a writer usually writes one book a year. Well, what pushes us is...
Or you simmer on it for a year.
simmer on it. But some people... I've heard people say that they've had a book for like 6 years and they haven't done anything with it. I try to write one book a year, and Courtney and I write at least one book a year because, so I'm really writing 2 books
I was going to
a year.
say, so you're doing one on your own
And one with her.
Yeah, 2
Because
projects going.
when we go to the Equine Affair, which is the largest horse show in New England, right here in West Springfield at the Big E Fairgrounds, the owner of the huge kiosk has authors from all over the country that come in with their books. She expects that you're going to have a new book every year. Yeah. And what's nice is I now have followers too. And they'll say, is your new book out? Is your new book out? Like now everybody's waiting for Izzy this November.
Yep.
You know.
Well, you have Izzy. Izzy's out now, but you have another Izzy book coming out.
that I'm writing.
Which, all right, so now we're going to jump into that. We got to jump into that because, you know, when I saw you at the artist fair and we started talking, number one, like your hardcover books jumped out at me because they're just
like crazy,
fascinating.
Yes.
You know, to do a hardcover book is expensive.
It is. Very
you don't make a lot of money on them.
No,
but,
never.
But especially for kids, they like the hardcover
do
books.
not.
You like giving a hardcover book.
Yeah.
And it's
I gift
very
a lot.
well formatted. The coloring is amazing
Yes.
in them. So, you know, I'm talking to you about that. And then I kind of look over and I'm like, oh, you wrote about a spy. You know?
Yes.
I'm like, that's cool. And then I'm reading the back and I'm like, she's 69 years old and she's online dating. And I'm like, this is like you've jumped from the youth and horses into
you
know,
and mysteries here into this,
into another culture,
another whole
and it's
genre.
It's a realistic current event.
Yes.
You know, so it's like the fact that you have your pulse right on these like current event things. I mean, I have to ask: are you writing from experience? Are you doing online dating?
No.
Okay.
But I do know many women and men who have done online dating.
Oh, people love to come share their stories with us,
Yes.
especially when you're a writer. Like, hey, I got to tell you this. And
Oh, yes.
Like,
I just met with someone
anything
who
you
had a
say,
story.
it might go in a book.
I just met with someone yesterday. Said I have a story about my brother online dating. Well, anyway, Izzy is a whole new genre. Actually, the Samantha Steele, I have a novel 3/4 written, another mystery with Samantha Steele, that I was working on, but I was driving in my car thinking about someone I knew who was scammed
From online dating.
From online dating, and it just hurt me so much to hear what happened to her that I said, people need to be warned about this online dating. And I dropped the Samantha Steele mystery, and just flew into writing Izzy the Reluctant Spy.
So when you fly into writing, you're driving in the car.
Yeah.
You get your inspiration.
That's where I get my
Do you start
inspirations.
dictating into your phone?
No.
Do you just make all these mental notes so when you get home you purge it on a page?
Yeah. I hear all these things and I'm thinking about them. I run home. I start handwriting what I'm thinking so that I don't forget, because there's so many.
Yeah.
As a writer, there's so many things dancing in your
Yes.
brain. Like I just, for my new book, I had this epiphany. I'm writing in the car. I said, oh my God, I got to write a chapter in this next book on this. I ran home and I wrote down what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I do. And then once, I think the most important thing for a writer, if I could give good advice, is that you may have a story, but you have to know the ending.
Yeah.
Because I've known people that just keep writing. Well, they could write. I know someone who wrote a book that should have been a trilogy. It was this big. But she kept writing and writing and writing. And
no one's buying War and Peace anymore. They
No.
don't want to read anything that long.
People want
series
short,
is fine.
quick,
Short, quick
fast,
read and move on.
be done with it.
Yep.
And so when I was going to write Izzy, Isadora Rose Franklin, and Franklin is a family name. I pull a lot of family names out. And Izzy really, she's a retiree. She's a widow. And she's pretty settled in her life. And as always, though, she has 2 horses. They're older. And she just uses them for just like trail riding. She always says, I'll never have another man in my life because I loved Max, my husband, so much. And she has grown children and she's living the life, peace. She's a writer, actually, but a writer of children's
So
stories.
I know it's not you, but it's definitely a little bit of a reflection of your life, having
Everything,
grown children,
yes.
having horses.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and we draw from our own experiences, obviously.
We do.
I mean, I know you're not doing the
Yeah.
online dating.
No.
But I mean, it's definitely a fascinating story.
It is. It's fun.
And I can tell that you love what you do.
I do love it.
You do love what you do.
I do love
and
it.
so you talked about you were a professor, you still teach online,
Yes.
and you do lecturing. Is most of that about the writing process, or is it tell us a little bit about that?
I either lecture about the writing process, because so many people, there's real need for it.
Yes.
And there's a real need to warn people that are writing not to be bilked by a lot of these online sites that say they'll do the editing, they'll do the cover, they'll do this, they'll do that, give me $2,500. What they don't tell you is they may throw that book together for you, but they do nothing else for you.
And it's so true, and that's one of the reasons why I started this program is to help writers understand that the writing process isn't just sitting down to write that story.
Nope.
You have to see it to the end. And so many people, do sometimes want to write that manuscript and then just turn it over to someone and walk away.
Right.
And it doesn't really work like that. You have to be 100% involved in every page and every word and every comma, and making sure that it's a final result representing your work.
Yes.
I mean, the publisher, it might represent them a little bit, but I mean, you're just a client to them for a minute.
Another thing that I do, another trick I do, is like with Izzy. I wrote 4 chapters, and then I make copies and I give them to like 4 friends.
Read, yep.
I say, read this. Does this interest you? And they're very honest.
Yes.
Is this something I should continue writing? Does this interest you? Edit it a little bit for me, just so I, and I test the audience before I
do that
all
too,
my
and
time
it
in.
is really important to do that, and it can be scary for a first-time writer.
Oh my God,
super scary. I mean, I remember, when I was doing Angel's Journey and even April Rain, like, oh, do you want to read this? What are they going to think? And it's that anxiety, and then it's like, when you've put so much time and effort and energy into it, it's going to be devastating if someone's saying, oh, I'm not interested in it. But more often than not, if you put that time and energy into it, you're going to grab an audience for sure.
I'm writing Izzy's sequel now. Now, Izzy was dragged reluctantly in to online dating and pretending to be someone else to find the man who tricked her friend Merle out of her money. Mm-hmm. So Izzy was a reluctant spy online. This is what happened with Izzy. But the new book that I'm writing, I have already sent it out to like 3 readers, and they're like, "Oh my God, we love this book. Keep on going. I can't wait to read the whole thing." So I'm excited.
I'm
about
excited to find out and come to your Author Selling More Books meetings and things like that. But can you tell the audience where they can find your books, where they can get more information on you, and all that jazz?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on. I used to. Oh, there's so much more to talk about writing with you. Where you should put your books and things like that, and where you shouldn't. But the only place now that has my books live, you might say, that you can buy, is from Fern Valley Marketplace in Wilbraham.
Okay.
On Main Street. It's a new place, and she's lovely because
it's a brick and mortar.
Yeah. Well, yes, and she's doing all local.
Okay.
I used to have my books in so many other places. I pulled them all out. I'm on Amazon. I'm on Barnes & Noble. I have a website, westridgefarmpublishing.com.
Yeah.
westridgefarmpublishing.com.
Yeah, I'll put that in the links below for your publishing company.
And you can find me at the Equine Affair every year in November. I do local shows. I do speaking engagements. I will tell you that Izzy is in many book clubs now, because it's an easy, fun read with a message, and a lot of them are now waiting for the sequel.
And now, how'd you get it into the book clubs?
Just word of mouth. Yeah, word of mouth. Someone. I just finished the book club at Ludlow Senior Center, actually, and I do the Holly Fair. I do some big events. I've narrowed it down now. She had read Izzy, and she found me at the Holly.
Well, and that's the thing. It's word of mouth is,
and
best
she
form of advertisement.
"Oh, I love this book. Can we have this book for our book club?" And when they do that, I will order them rather than having them order them on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. I will sell them at cost if it's a book club.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you came into studio today.
No,
Thank
I'm so
you
happy
so
you
much.
invited me.
It's been very eye-opening to learn how you developed your characters, because that's, a huge thing for people.
Yes.
And, just it resonates with me how you're getting your stories driving in your car, because sometimes other writers need to hear them and be like, "Oh, thank God that happens to me too."
Sometimes a shower too.
Shower,
will
yes.
bring things like, because it's quiet.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely when you're quiet and I'm dictating to my phone, or I go through my phone and I have all these notes and I'm like, what is that from?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming into
You're
studio.
welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Angela.
We look forward to hearing more about Izzy's next adventure and the horse's next adventure, and I hope to have you back on the show again.
Thank you. I'd love to come on your show again.
Thank
you so much.
And I want to thank you, the studio audience, for, the audience there at home, for always tuning in and binge watching all of these yWrite episodes so you can learn about all these great writers. And, if you're looking to write your story, there are so many ways to tell a story. And of course, we've talked with Sandy Howell today, about talking about, how she's written the things she's passionate about. And, there's things in your life that I know you're passionate about that maybe you have the wisdom and the experience to share. So this is the time in the program where I'm going to give you a writing prompt. And when the show is over, set your microwave or your timer or your iPhone for 5 or 10 minutes and just start telling a little story about something that you're passionate about. Whether it's something when you were a kid, maybe, it's something that, you like baking. And just, tell a little story about, a time that you were doing that, because that example, that experience that you have can be used in a story. And who knows, maybe you're writing fiction, maybe you're going to be writing a memoir, but you do have a story that's important to be heard. So keep writing. Thanks for watching and subscribing to yWrite, and I will see you on the next show. Have a great day.